Are you just getting into Japanese, but you're probably a little too early on to be confident enough to fail with a real Japanese person? You keep trying to talk to Japanese people, but it just feels like they're pounding you in the face with language that you don't seem to understand even at a slow speed. Hi, my name is Chad. This isn't an infomercial, but that was me when I first started. That's probably everybody when we all first start. Fear not, it was a common occurrence, and I'm going to share with you today what I did to kind of buffer that blow a little bit. This is Japanese shadowboxing. Roll the intro. What's going on, everybody? My name is Chad, and this week, not a textbook review. I know, weird. It's almost like the 3 books I reviewed are gone. And if you can't tell by the title, yes, it is a bit of a weird thing for a Japanese learning channel, but I promise you, at least I hope I can promise you, it's really not that weird. The thing I want to talk about today is something that I called Japanese or linguistic shadowboxing, because it's not just for Japanese. Now, I don't think I invented this. I don't have that big of an ego. I've never seen someone talk about this. I haven't seen this on some video where someone's like, I passed the N1 in a year, then they talked about this, and I haven't seen it from any of the linguistic theory books that I have to read for grad school. Pretty much, I just kind of figured this out because I was struggling so desperately and I needed to figure something out to help. And this is the medicine I made at home. Frankly, I still can remember very vividly my early days of learning Japanese. I was listening to Japanese Pod 101, and I remember struggling so bad, not only with like hearing them at the slow speeds, but the fast speeds. I understood the grammar and the words that they were doing, and I felt like I could do it in my head kind of slowly. But man, if I ever put on an anime, or if for whatever reason a Japanese person were to speak to me at that point, I would be screwed. And not just screwed because you don't know a lot, because you're screwed in that sense no matter what, but screwed that I couldn't even use the stuff that I knew. It wasn't in my muscle memory, right? In the same way, once you know how to ride a bike, you never forget. It's typically the same with linguistics. Once you have that muscle memory, you're able to answer kind of reflexively. If someone says, how are you? You can kind of go, hey, I'm good, how are you? But it's a reflexive thing, right? Now, textbooks did not teach me how to make this reflexive, and I didn't really even understand that that's what I was searching for. How could I get this deep in the old choodle, the Chad noodle? And that's when I saw, weirdly enough, a YouTube video from Mike Tyson, or at least about Mike Tyson. He was talking about his training and shadowboxing, and I was seeing him throw these punches in the air and going over why he was training the way that he was doing. And I have no interest in boxing. This must have just been some stupid YouTube hole that I was in, but I was fascinated because I was learning a language and he was learning to box because it was about his childhood and how he was being trained by this coach to be this machine of a boxer. And truthfully, I wanted to be that for Japanese. I wanted to be this ultimate Chad Hokage in Japanese. And so I was just learning from people who were good at something, anything. It doesn't have to be linguistics. In fact, that's probably Mike Tyson's weakest point. And he brought up shadowboxing. In fact, he brought up his whole training process. And so much of his process was learning the actual movements. He would have his coach teach him how to throw a punch biomechanically, right? How do you actually move your body to punch easier? Because it's, this is not as effective of a punch as, something like that. There's hip twisting. There's a lot of hips in this. And once he finally learns the correct form and how to actually do it, he then sits with a coach who usually has pads on, and that coach is sitting there telling him what he's doing wrong, what he's doing right, do that more and more to try and build up some muscle memory, to try and get it so that way when he punches, every time he punches, it's that perfect punch. But this is where I got stuck. I'd learned the grammar and the words. That's kind of like learning the actual form of a perfect punch. And through your teachers, your textbook, I don't know, your workbooks, whatever you're doing, you're slowly hitting the pads with your coach to try and make sure you're doing the form perfect every time. But then what? See, in boxing, you don't just go right into the ring with someone who's been doing this their entire lives. Someone who's been boxing since birth. A native boxer, you would say. You would get the floor wiped with you. And it feels bad. And it is bad. So what do? There's steps in between. In fact, the biggest step that Mike was talking about was stuff like shadowboxing. It's not just throwing punches into the air. He says that you picture a shadow form of yourself. You picture someone that knows exactly what you know. Someone who almost can predict what your moves are going to be, and you can predict what their moves are going to be. You're on the exact same level. Someone who, if you throw a punch and hit, or if they throw a punch and hit, it doesn't discourage you. You box against yourself because you're your own best and worst enemy. So when he's shadowboxing, he's fighting Shadow Mike Tyson, which is a really sweet Naruto spinoff that I sincerely hope happens. But in case it doesn't, think about this linguistically, right? Like, you know only as much as you know. And you can do only as much as you can do. So why not create the shadow clone jutsu form of yourself and talk to it? Do it over and over and over and over again. As much as you can. You could do this on the bus. You could do it in your room. You could do it in the shower. You could do it on the car ride to work or home from work. You could do it on airplanes. And all you're doing is getting the muscle memory going over and over and over again. Now, you can do this muscle memory thing with a real person, be it a native or maybe a classmate or something like that. But think about it. If you only just learned the form and had a little bit of critique with your teacher and you get in the ring, your muscle memory now is being developed but while getting hit in the face. Whereas shadowboxing lets you continue to hone in on it, continue to practice the forms, continue to get faster and quicker, to be able to fight longer, or in our case, to speak longer, to have longer conversations. Because if you guys are learning a language and you have not gotten to where you're so tired and mentally exhausted from trying to speak the language that it's just not working anymore, probably haven't done it long enough, because your brain has a finite amount of noodly energy, and if you go long enough, it's just gonna run out. And this will help your stamina. You're gonna be able to do it for longer, faster. It's gonna become more reflexive, and you're gonna see when someone blows past you, when someone's swinging at you, you know to go left and to counter, or to go down and up. It's all the same process. Maybe not as physical as boxing, but it's the same process. So now you guys are learning from your textbooks. You are doing the pads with your teacher or the workbooks for your textbooks, whatever it is. And you're also going to add shadowboxing, talking to yourself. You know the question, you know the answer. What is this? This is a pencil. And you can talk, you can make the sentence yourself and then hear the sentence from the other person. Do that 1,000 times over a week. And you're probably gonna be pretty good at asking, what is this? This is a pencil. And then, hopefully, all of this to say, this is obviously not a replacement for talking to natives, right? Or to emailing people, texting natives, whatever it is your thing is. But if you're at the early stages of learning and you're really, really nervous, you don't wanna get hit in the face, but you wanna get into boxing, you know that the face hits are gonna come, but do they need to come on day one? I'd argue no. I think you guys need to give yourselves a little bit more time for this muscle memory thing. Hold off on the output unless the output is up in the old noodle boy here, because you're outputting, but you're kind of outputting in your head. And then after it's, it feels a bit more smooth, it feels a bit more, dare I say, fluid, right? Like you can do it a bit easier. Then, yeah, you're gonna get in the ring and you're still gonna get hit in the face because there's lots of words and grammar you don't know. There's lots of moves you've never seen, but at least you have that basic confidence of the few things that you know, you can do it sort of well. So yeah, you're gonna get hit in the face, but maybe like 40% less. Or at least that's how I felt, and it gave me the confidence as a really shy person who also sucked at Japanese at the start, because everyone does, to go out there and really just balls to the wall do it. So I hope that works for you guys. If this sounds anything remotely cool, I hope you guys decide to do the shadow clone jutsu form of Japanese learning. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or compliments, please leave them in the comment box down below. I do personally read all of them. Japanese learner, are you? Is this English? Is it? Check out my Discord down below. It's almost 400 people at this point of just awesome Japanese learners, supportive people, a community, answering questions, helping each other out, sending really, really bad memes. Really, really bad memes. If that sounds like fun, feel free to join that. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny. Thank you so much to the manga club and the patrons. It's so crazy to think that like I'll lose during the coronavirus like $50 worth of support and then gain 60 back that same month. You guys have been so supportive and so helpful, and all of this shuts off without you guys. You make this channel happen. So check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me. Twitch TV/Chad Zimmerman. Check out Zimcara Rods. Support me. Buy one of my rods. Buy one of my Japanese fly fishing rods. Do it. You won't. We're about to move over to the outro now. So if you have not already, it's okay if you don't subscribe. I do this for free. You don't have to. You'll get the regular outro. It's beautiful. Hand drawn by a Russian animator. However, there's a special subscriber-only outro that you can only watch if you're subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, you don't get to watch. You go away. But for those who are subscribed who want to help me hit arbitrary numbers that nobody cares about anymore, then subscribe. Check out the subscriber-only outro. Also, for everybody, love hard, love deep, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye. They're all gone, which is cool. So now we're all back. Subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. Hi there. You guys are in the exclusive content that is only accessible through subscription. Congratulations, this is my OnlyFans. But I only have to go one button further down. Anyways, I would like to thank you guys, and I'd also like to show you a little bit more. It seemed like plenty of people enjoyed the scrapbook I showed you guys last week. I'm not going to show you scrapbook again. However, I have lots of really cool family photos on the wall of little baby Chad, and I think you guys might appreciate a little bit of a slideshow. So thank you for subbing. Here's the slideshow, and I will see you all next week. Peace.